Hey, yo, check this out, man. Look, Ced Talk Podcast. We back with another one. Look, this is episode number 10. Episode 10 on season 1. I'm proud. I'm excited. I'm extremely happy for myself, man. Because I said I was going to do it, and then I did it. And we here. So we're wrapping up with season 1. And I just want to go over a few things as far as, why I even came out with a podcast, my next few plans, after this and stuff like that as well. So, man, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and just clap him up, one time because I'm excited, baby. Look, hey, hey. You feel me? We here, baby. But look, though. It's this. We're wrapping it up. Season 1. It is done. Season 1 is done. And so the thing is this. This season was really just the introduction of who I am, my upbringing, right? And then just kind of the experience that I've had or shared with any of my friends, my close friends, my brothers and stuff like that as well. My wife, I had my oldest son, on the show as well, man. It's just bring me joy, great joy, just to be able to see it through. And guess what? I'm just getting started. I have books on books on books of my writings, of episodes, of people who I'm going to have on the show, interviews, right? Things like that. So y'all stay tuned, man, because we're just getting started. We're talking about location. We're talking about equipment. We're talking about engineers. We're talking about the whole thing. We're about to make big moves, right? Big things are coming. So look, the reason why I got this podcast going, for me was personally, I was looking for ways to kind of express myself, and get just thoughts out of my head, right? So I tried journaling. But for me, it just didn't work. I didn't know how to write down, what I was thinking. I was thinking okay, well, should I speak in the third person or am I talking to myself? So I couldn't really just write things down. And then I tried audio, just like a recording. I'm walking around and randomly I'll get a thought in my mind and I'll pull out the phone and be like, yeah, save that for later. Today is October 7th, whatever, right? And so that was the thing for me where it was then I had to go back, listen to the audio, try to find some good stuff. But then I was already my mindset had already shifted. While I was working out, I was listening to podcasts. While I was on my way to work, I was listening to podcasts. And I think it was this one podcast with Ed Milet and Master P that I've heard. And that one was fire. It was fire. But then I heard a different side of Master P, from what I thought who he was, and how he built his business and stuff like that, to now really him speaking on his behalf, him speaking about his struggles, him speaking about not giving up, him speaking about building his brand and his business. I was like, dang, that's deep and it's powerful. And so that kind of made me think dang, maybe I should get a podcast, because I'm always in my head. I'm always thinking. I always have, creative ideas, and it doesn't stop. It just keeps going, keeps going. So that's the reason why I wanted to try the podcast. And so for me, I wanted to go into this, really organized. So what I did was I had to research it. So I made contacts with other people, and a few, I was just asking how to start a podcast and all that kind of stuff. What are the kinds of equipment that I need? And so I just kept asking around. A few people catted on me, with certain things, and then I needed help with a few other things. And so I just really didn't have a lot of people to help me to start this podcast. So I just started YouTube and stuff. I started Googling things. And then I made it happen. So once I learned how to start a podcast, then that's when I had to come up with a plan. Okay, so I said, if I'm going to start a podcast, what is the plan? And my thing is, I wanted to do a season just about me, my life, and the people that I'm connected with. And I was like, okay, so what would that look like? Right. So I was just writing things out, and I was like, you know what? I wanna be able to interview like my family and the people that are closest to me, because their way of teaching regarding my parents shaped, who I am today. My friends that I grew up with, like the way we grew up kind of shaped who we are today. The marriage that I'm in, like the struggles and the stuff that we overcame and is still overcoming, like is shaping us, for better. And so I was like, I want to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and interview my family, interview, my friends, and then just, see what that looked like. And so I wrote down, I said, I want to do 10 episodes. At first it was gonna be 20, but I was like, 20 is too much because, y'all don't want to hear that much about me, you know what I'm saying? Nah, but so I was like, let's do 10. I'm gonna do 10 episodes in one season. The first season is just the introduction of just my life. And so I wrote it out, boom, 10. And then the structure of it, all of that just kind of came in place. And then I had to think of a date of when to actually drop this podcast. So I'm just thinking. And so with all of this happening, I think the biggest lesson for me was you have to know what you want. And after knowing what you want, you have to come up with a plan. Once you have a plan in place, you have to find a way on how to execute that plan. Now, executing that plan, now you have to you're talking about deadlines. You're saying, okay, I need a name for the show. I'm going to give myself a deadline. By this day, I should have a name. Once I have a name, okay, I need to actually publish this show. What date will I publish it on? You need to have a deadline on what date you need to do it, and so that's what it was, and so I was able to record multiple videos ahead of time so that way I could just, boom, I'll drop an episode and it's scheduled. So I had to learn how to schedule, the episodes for it to drop automatically at midnight or something like that. And that has helped tremendously. Okay. And so that's one of the reasons of just me kind of starting this podcast. And that was the ins and outs of how it even came about. And I think the biggest thing for me though was the very first episode, right? It was the last straw. That threw a lot of people, for a loop. Just really, people didn't know what to expect, right? Because I'm hyping it up. Oh, it's August 7th, finally here. It's August 7th. Hey, it's finally here, right? So I was just hyping it up. And I was like, I want to start with this first episode. It was the last straw because one, this was a time where I was going through depression. This is a time where I felt like I was a child. Like I felt like I was a child. I was very needy. I was just, I was all over the place mentally. This was a time where, I had thoughts of suicide and, all sorts of things, right? And so I was like, I want to come out with this first episode, right? And not necessarily to see what people think about it, but I just knew people would have something to say about it, right? And so, I mean, I was getting phone calls, from brothers and sisters in Christ, about the first episode. And, you know, some people was like, oh, you're in sin. You mentioned suicide and you're in sin, right? And I was like, okay. I'm like, I'm alive, though. Like, I didn't commit suicide, and I said I had thoughts of committing suicide and things like that. But, so on the flip side, I had people that was kind of reaching out and was like, yo, that was a powerful story, testimony. Like, I've been through that as well. Other people shared their stories. It was like, I've been through similar cases where I thought of the same thing. Then I had others, on the flip side to where it's like, we're talking about scriptures and, book, chapter, verse, and show me this and show me that. And that's kind of like the point of me dropping that, because now everyone was curious, like, bro, what direction are you going? Like, where are you going with this episode, with this podcast? Like, what is your next upcoming episodes going to be like, And that's like looking at Power, asking 50 Cent, like, bro, who killed Ghost? Was it Tommy? Like, I want to know what's coming up next. So I came out with that first one purposely because I knew people would have like different opinions and thoughts, and they'd be like, whoa. And so I'll be honest though, like initially starting this podcast, dropping that first episode, like I definitely wanted the views for sure. Like I was chasing views, like, come on, watch it, share, watch it. But then my very second episode, this is my first time interviewing someone on the show, right? So this was my mother who I interviewed on the show, and it was mind-blowing to me because it did not go how I expected it to go. So I had a layout of how I thought it would go, and she had questions and things like that. But for me, when she was answering a lot of these questions and us having a natural conversation, it led to other things. But me, I also found out new things in that episode. And so from that moment forward, like it really did something to me to where it's like, wow, I enjoy this. Like in that episode with my mom, she was talking about, being in a verbal abuse, emotional abuse type situation when she was with my dad. But when she was explaining this about my dad, like I saw myself. You get what I'm saying? Like when she was talking about how my dad was, angry, my dad was jealous, my dad was, he would say mean things, all sorts of things. I would see myself as my mom was talking on the show. And so that's why I say, like, I really started to enjoy this, not caring about the views anymore. So moving forward, I was like, you know what? I want to do more interviews. That's, because I like people and I like really getting to know people and just kind of the stuff that they experience in life and how they have overcome certain things as well. So I was like, yo, I like this, a lot. And just being able to, even with my wife, having a couple episodes with my wife, talking about real stuff, talking about real marital stuff, talking about our issues, some of the problems that we have to face, which is still more to come. But it's like talking about that felt like counseling without a counselor. Like I felt like my all my camcorders and was the counselor, because we know that it's recording. So now that we're talking about these things, it's not like we're going to get up and start flipping tables. Like we're not going to do that, right? Because the thing is, we're sharing this because we know other people are having issues in their marriage as well. And so because of our experience and how we overcome certain things, that can be a message to someone else who is struggling right now in their marriage. And so that's why we're doing this, the shows. And I was like, I want to keep doing interviews. So it goes on and on and on, right? I do a show with my brothers. I do a show, with my son. I still got to do a show with my actual brother, my big brother. That stay tuned for that one. That's going to be powerful. But it's like, that's where it's at. Like, I'm not about the views anymore. I really don't even care about it, because if you're seeking views and you start dropping videos and you don't get any views, you're going to quit. You're no longer going to move forward because you're thinking about the views. The key is just to do the things that you love, do the things that are true to you, and enjoy that, because even without the views, you're still motivated and you have that desire to keep moving forward. And so that's where I'm at now. Like, it's funny how, like, people that promote it, people that would talk about, hey, bro, I see that you was doing your thing online, or I see that you doing this and doing that. Like, keep it, keep moving forward. But, people, they not watching it, though. You know what I'm saying? But it don't bother me. At first it did, but it doesn't bother me now because I really enjoy what I'm doing. And as you can see, too, like, this is a good hobby for me, but it's an outlet to be able to express myself. So the equipment that I have, the stuff that I'm putting into this, like, I am taking it seriously, but I am going to keep going too. Like, I'm not going to quit. I had thoughts of just kind of like writer's block, or, I have those thoughts before. It'd be like, you know what, I'm not going to drop an episode this week. But I'm like, heck nah. Like, because I said I would, then I'm going to do it. Like, I'm going to just stick to my word. And so that's where I'm at. Like, I started it just trying to like boost the views, but man, like, I really enjoy doing this. And so stay tuned. And then, so just really kind of like moving forward, we have, I'm going to like switch it a little bit, right? So because we finished this season of like the introduction of me, we're going to be moving on to like debatable topics. But I'm also still going to be conducting interviews, right? Because I still like learning about people's lives and the things that they overcome. But like, we're going to be talking about topics like the breakup mentality, right? The breakup mentality. What I mean is, sometimes, right, people are in this relationship for a long time. And when they break up, for some reason, one of them or even both, they feel this urge to now like do better with themselves. Like, you know what? I'm about to eat right. You know what? I'm about to stay in shape. I'm about to go get a better job. Like, I'm focusing on me. So we're gonna have those kind of topics. Like, okay, well, if that person was already doing right or doing those things in that relationship, would it be possible that they wouldn't have gotten broken up with? I would like to hear your opinion on that. But we have it lined up. Like, we got people already on deck. We got men, we got women that's getting ready to get on the shows and discuss these topics. Who's your top 5 NBA basketball player? Who's your top 5 R&B singer? Who's your top 5 hip hop artist? Like, we about to go in for sure. So it's about to be lit, man. I'm super excited. And this is for you guys, right? So this is an accomplishment for me. The reason why is because I said I was going to do a podcast, and I did it. I said I was going to do this amount of show episodes, and I did it. But like I say, we're just getting started. So I just wanted to appreciate all of you for supporting. Thank you. If you haven't supported, it's still all love, for real. If you want to get on the show, if you're interested in, being interviewed or hopping on these debatable topics, definitely contact me. Reach out to me. I'll have you on the show. We can make it happen. But you just make sure you bring your facts. I was on a plane one day and I did something on a plane, and this lady says to me, she's like, men only do that. And I was like, what do you mean? And then she was like, let me tell you something. Women think emotionally, men think logically. And I was like, okay. I took my pen out, wrote that down, because that's gonna be another topic. What's your thoughts on that? And we just gonna open up, man. And I want to hear some examples, for real, about women thinking emotionally and men thinking logically. So we gonna turn up. It's on and popping. I'm pumped up. I'm fired up. I'm super excited, man. And we are lit. Like I say, I have so much stuff right here just written down, ready to record, ready to publish, really for me, but for y'all to watch and everything as well too. So like I said before, thank you for the support. We are closing this season of the introduction of me. We're going to, move on to other things right now. But just stay tuned, though. Keep watching. This is Ced Talk Podcast. I'm on Apple. I'm on Spotify and YouTube, right, for the visuals. Please stay tuned. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And look, we are out, baby.